Welcome to the Global Peace Film Festival Lives Online Conversation 2024 Festival Edition. Please join me, Kelly Devine, the head programmer, in conversation with Nina Strike, the founder and festival director, as we speak with Isabel Rosa Zabu and Emily Corlin Bishop, who are representing the film Water is Love, Ripples of Regeneration, which you can see at our upcoming festival. Our in-person screenings begin September 17th and run through the 22nd. Our virtual programming begins September 23rd and ends on the 29th. Information about all of our events, screening dates, and other activities can be found at our peacefilmfest.org website. And now let's welcome Isabel and Emily to the conversation. Thank you so much for your time today and for your beautiful film.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you also for having us.
It's wonderful to have the film, and it's lovely to be speaking to you both from Portugal. And let's start. Emily, can you tell us about the film?
Sure. So Water is Love, Ripples of Regeneration is an hour-long documentary that features the story of young people grappling with the climate change, while we also show 3 examples of water retention landscapes in different parts of the world, including India, Kenya, and in Portugal, that demonstrate that water retention methods can be a solution for climate change and is an important aspect of we think about all of the ways that we're battling climate change through carbon sequestration or stopping fossil fuels, and all of this is important. But the film really demonstrates that there's a crucial factor that we need to uplift, and that's water management. And so this is a big aspect of the film where we share concrete examples of water retention management, but also go through the film sharing the different worldviews, indigenous worldviews compared to a mechanistic capitalist worldview, and why we are often feeling an inner suffering that's happening with the world and the conditions that we're living in. And what is beautiful about the film is that it follows young people who are having these feelings. And at the end of the film, after we show examples, the young people come together with the leaders of these projects and have an intergenerational exchange with them. And we hear more from the voices, very wise voices of these young people who not only have the experience of what it's like to create a water retention landscape through an experience that they go through, but also having contact with these leaders who have dedicated their life's work to water management and healing the climate situation.
Yeah. I just want to honor, because we are 5 filmmakers actually, and I just want to bring the other 3 here, because it's me and Emily, but it's also Martin Winiecki, Rosa Paniczka, and Ludwig Schramm. And actually they are the core. They start with that, and then we join them. And at the end, we become all the filmmakers of the film at a certain point. But I just want to honor them and bring them to the beginning of our conversation.
Isabel, that's such an important acknowledgement. So thank you for doing that. And also, could you and Emily both talk about how you came to know about this project, and why it was important for you to make a documentary, and also about the approach of it being such a collaborative effort.
Yeah, so I was living in Tamera, which is one of the projects that we show as a showcase, in a way, as an example of a water retention landscape. And I start to be invited as a project manager, and I have also a background of filmmaking. So, and for me, what's happened was this attraction for water, and how the perspective of water can change probably my connection with nature, and how water as a living being, it's also inside of me as is outside of me, right? So this inner and outer water that I felt very much drawn to it, because it can change the perspective of how I interact with the planet and how I interact with nature. And I found that really precious, and also to bring that possibility through the youth, to bring that to education, that can have a different perspective of nature and education, including water in a different way. And also that the youth can see themselves in a different way in nature and how connected we are all with that, right? So, and of course, it's very important to show positive examples in the world, especially in these moments that we are. And this is also another way. And for me, as an activist, that I was in the streets and I was connected with the fracking and everything, for me, it was a form of art to reach more people, and also to join the other form of this in this filmmaking. Yeah.
And Emily, how did you come to this project?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was also involved in the anti-fracking movement in New York State and in California, and we're on these teams that were really politically effective, especially in New York. And this was in my early and mid 20s. And at some point I got really burned out, and I was like, there must be a different way than fighting the system and fighting these corporations, that it's endless, and it can become feeling very hopeless for a young person like myself, to feel like no matter how much work I do to stop it, it just keeps continuing. There must be something else that I can do besides always trying to stop something from happening. And I was really looking into alternatives and communities, and how do we create systems or structures or communities that where we are setting ourselves up for something different and something new, and to create a world in which we don't need those things, perhaps, maybe someday, or those things will fall away, or there will be a collapse, and who knows, like, this isn't sustainable, right? And that inquiry led me to discover Tamara in Portugal, which is featured in our film as the landscape, one of the water retention landscapes, and found I was attracted here for their ecology, for the water, for their way of activism, for a spiritual ecology, I would call it. And also at the same time that I was discovering Tamara, I was getting to know Joanna Macy and the work that reconnects, and found that yeah, there's all these different ways that we can be activists and contribute to a peaceful, sustainable world. And activism and stopping and holding the line of these corporations and is one way, and also creating new structures is another. And Joanna Macy also talks about shifting consciousness, and so when I was in Tamara during COVID, I just happened to be here and wanting to come into the project longer term. And this was an opportunity to contribute and to have a working place and to do something meaningful. And so Isabel advocated for me to join the project because of our connection and the history of my activism and my connection to water. And so there it was. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And for people who will see the film, I think one of the things that will surprise them is the hopefulness of the film, and is the positive, and not in a utopian sense, but in a really concrete way, based in methods and community building that I think will people will really take to heart. But as you were involved in the project and making the film, what surprised you about the process?
I'll let Isabel start this question.
Well, you know, the project start as a docu-series, which means that the beginning of the beginning was supposed to be 3 episodes. And then it became one with trying to brilliant then with Martin and Emily with the script that they really could put everything, a bit of everything together. So we changed the structure. That was one of the learnings and one of the things how combine so much material, and do a story out of something that exists, and then the script comes after. So that was really a process that was very challenging in one hand, and on the other hand, it was also enthusiastic. It was an adventure to do that, right? It was really good. And as much as we are seeing the material, the youth and the intergeneration, it's something that we don't see so much. So this was really a line to be in the film, and the positivity, as you said, with other examples that we have in the world. And on a personal level, I felt that sometimes was very challenging, because we are 5 people with 5 different opinions and 5 different points of view. And you can imagine this sometimes create, of course, tension and conflict and everything, right? So there were moments that for me personally, I was like, I really don't know if we manage, because we all have the heart in the film, and we also have a vision of this positivity, and also to put the heart there. And then when we finish after many versions and end up on this one, the heart is there, I feel. And this was for me amazing learning, because even we can be in conflict in a project, but if we have the vision and put the heart in the center, it shows up at the end. And this for me was very beautiful, because it is also our love for what we were doing, the message we would like to send, and also touching the people as we were touching during how we were walking on the path of the process of the film, because there was really love that we felt all over the process, and it was there. So for me, this is a big learning, that to put love in the center can really create and manifest a message that can touch people. This is what I can say now. Yeah.
So as you probably know, the mission of the Global Peace Film Festival is to use the power of creative media to inspire and educate people to do things to make the world a more peaceful and more environmentally sustainable place. How did you approach the film in terms of educating, in terms of encouraging people to get involved? And what are you doing to get the film out and make an impact with it?
Yeah, so for me, I also just want to add a little bit from before and weave it into your question, which is that like my learning and the surprise for me was this dedication, also like Isabel said, the dedication of the team with the heart and connecting to the my task in writing the script and weaving some of the story together along with the rest of the team. It felt like, okay, I could really connect to my relationship with water. I could connect to my love for the world, my love for this element, my love and my passion for peace and social justice and wanting to see things in a different way, and weave that in such a beautiful and confident way. There's a meditation, and so people will be surprised, I think, about the beginning of the film, where there's meditation, and it starts off very slow, and people are used to, like, the beginnings of films maybe happening very fast to get people hooked, but we really ask people to slow down and to feel and to breathe and to connect, and that it's not about us flashing, you know, climate disaster images to make people feel something, but rather having them connect with their love for life instead. And of course, we do show some of those images, but the point is to have them connect with their heart. And part of this in terms of the distribution and connecting people to the film, you know, we're still figuring this out. This is my first time doing this kind of work. And so, you know, we, and especially Isabel, has a dedication to doing it in a different way. And we're trying as a team to figure that out in some ways, and also working in a way where it can be seen by a lot of people. So part of our strategy is film festivals, which Isabel is organizing and facilitating that process. Another is through community screenings and having people sign up to screen the film in their own places, in their own organizations, in their own schools. We just had a 4-day summit called What Does Water Want? And we had beautiful speakers, very deep, and where we invited the people who presented to deepen on the topics in the film. And the recordings of the summit are still available and online. And so we are kind of developing a wealth of educational supplementary material to go along with the film. So it's not just you see this and then you go about your life, but there's a deepening that can happen. We also are just about to release our educators curriculum, for water retention and water cycles. And we have a series of 4 lessons that includes creating a mini water retention landscape with students. And so students can actually get on a little piece of, you know, soil and create the swales and the terraces and the ponds, and then the teacher makes it rain. And so the students can really see, where does the water go, and how do we support water to flow in the right way? And really, it's my mission is for people to be asking that question, not necessarily for people to be seeing the film. So it's like, how do we use the tools of filmmaking and distribution so that people can really drop into this question and be of service to water and healing the climate? Yeah.
Can I add something to this? Okay, because Emily is speaking about this educator guide, in a way, for children 7 years old up. And this is also connected with the animation, because the film has a part that is an animation. And the animation has its own piece of 12 minutes. And we just show parts in the documentary. So there are 2 things here. One, it's the animation, the other one, it's the documentary. And this guide of education about what mini water retention landscape also can go with the animation for schools. For instance, I like the human contact, so that's why Emily is saying that we have different approaches, but they are complementary. So I have a partnership with already some schools in Portugal for the next school year as an education system that goes with the animation and this mini water retention landscape step-by-step guide, right? So this is one of the approach that education and to bring this different perspective to schools and to promote some talkings with youth. This is one of the things that for me it's one of the approaches and one of the main things that for me it's important. And then of course it's all the stewards of the land and all the perspective that we have about water and love. If water is life, there is love, and I care for the earth that I live with and I am part of. So this is, yeah, that's it.
And finally, what is next for each of you? You've addressed some of what I was going to ask already, but in terms of you personally, obviously you're still working on this film, but what is next for you each personally?
I guess
Emily?
I can. I am in a wandering stage at the moment and wanting to find a home. You know, I'm in my early 30s and it's like, okay, what do I do next after this? And this, my relationship with Tamara and with this film has spanned over the last 10 years of my life now. And it's a chapter that feels like it's maybe closing up and I'm trying to figure out what's next. And also very open to emergence and what comes. And I might be in Florida for the film festival, and then there's the New York City Climate Week right after that. And so looking for partnerships and people to support us to get the film out and spread the word. And then after that, I'm just very open to what life brings and thinking about going back to school. I don't know. I'm still listening to what life wants from me next. Yeah.
Isabel?
I'm really excited because this is one of the parts that I also love in the movie making. It's the after, right? So for me, it's I'm very much in Portugal with the contacts that I have here for screenings in communities. Also, maybe in Açores, which is part of Portugal, the 7 islands that it's part of Açores. It's one part, and Madeira, it's another island. And I love to go to do this kind of work, which is going to schools, show the film and the animation, or speak then after, have a short conversation, or approach also with some of the activities that we show in the guides. And I also love when I am online in Zoom and someone is doing up north that I can't go, and I just open for a session of questions afterwards, because it's really beautiful, the audience afterwards, to have a space where they can speak about it, where to sink in the information. And usually during that moment, there are interconnections among people and they start to create something together, because it's great when people come together then with ideas, right? So if I am in a small village and I can start work in that small village regarding the rain that comes, and I can direct, for instance, for trees or something. And if people can start to have ideas and start to apply locally, that's why in the region, this is great. So, and sometimes this happens, and this is, it's be the change you wish to see in the world, like Gandhi said, right? So I like to go to that spaces. So I will be in this school year. I think it's one more year with the film in this kind of approach and talks and screenings. I'm very happy with that. I'm also a way of council facilitator, so I also do circles with it. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I'm happy that people receive so well, actually, this documentary. It's really a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Isabel and Emily. This has been such a thoughtful conversation. It's a shame to have to bring it to an end, because I'm just enjoying it so much. And I hope that everyone who has watched it also enjoys it and seeks out your film. They are going to, I love, Emily, that you reminded us that it starts with a meditation, and that, Isabel, that there is heart that runs through every aspect of the film. So I think that's something that people are going to be well rewarded with if they seek out this film. And please do join us at the film festival. Our dates begin September 17th through the 22nd for our live program, and our virtual program is September 23rd through the 29th. All of the festival information can be found at filmfest.org. But if you would like to learn more about the resources and what's happening with this film, please do go to waterislovefilm.org. That's waterislovefilm.org. And again, the film title is Water is Love, Ripples of Regeneration. And we have been so fortunate to speak with Isabel, Rosa Zabu, and Emily Corlin Bishop. Thank you, and we will see you at the next Glow.
Thank you.